there we go, look at that.
So in episode 1, we created this part using a miter guide. And next what we want to do is make it really strong by putting a fillet in it. In this case, it's about 20 millimeters. And in order to add this extra material, what we're going to do is create a mold box. And so a part that goes around our piece, and then this we can extrude. After that, we can do a boolean and remove that part to create the cavity. And then all we need to do from here is to create a couple of chamfers just to remove some material to make it an easier print. So all good to go.
So now the molds have been printed, and we've coated them with epoxy, 2 layers, and then we've polished it to get a nice finish just where we're going to be worried about the finish. It's time to coat them and then get them ready for the molding process. So now our mold release is all happily on. It's time for us to mix up some epoxy and then get 2 different containers, one of them with epoxy and the other one with chopped carbon to make our little forged carbon connector. And we're going to need enough to fill this gap in the side.
Putting some epoxy straight onto the mold will allow your fibers to stick really nicely to them. It also will reduce any surface imperfections. Another way to add a lot of fiber is to create a little bit of a bundle. And then once you've done that, you pour it full of epoxy, make sure it's all really well wetted out. That means you can add plenty of fiber into your voids. You want to make sure you have lots of extra fiber and epoxy, and we'll squish that out a bit later. You want to test for fitment to make sure you've got enough pressure in there. Close your mold, and then 24 hours later you can demold, and hopefully it looks nice and consolidated with a good surface finish like this.
It's got a bit of flashing and carbon on the sides that we're going to have to grind off. I already showed you the grinding and sanding process in the last one, so I'll just finally show you the end product.
So it came out pretty well. Not too many surface imperfections. That's straight out of the mold without any polishing. I also then put it through some pretty rigorous testing, scooting a couple 100 kilometers with 30 kilos on the front.